Okay guys, we're back. We're still hard at it in the kitchen. It is Friday afternoon now, and we are going to set about making our lime icebox pie and see if it works the same way and behaves the same way that our lemon one did, because it was fantastic and it was really easy. So last time I happened to have a pre-made graham cracker crust kicking around, so that's what I used. This time I don't. So I just got out my graham cracker crumbs, or if you just have crackers, if you can put them in a Ziploc bag and roll over them with a rolling pin until they're nice and fine, or put them in a food processor or blender, give them a few pulses so there's no big chunks. And then I've got about 4 tablespoons of melted butter here to 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. Now, this is the pie plate that I'm going to use, one of my favorites that was given to me by Judy Serafinchen, who is a member of our center, on the occasion of my bridal shower many years ago. Still using this plate and loving it. In any event, I'm not really sure if this is quite enough in the way of crust, but we're going to mix it up and we're going to see. We can always add more butter and more crumbs if we feel like it's a little sparse. So I'm going to start by just making a bit of a well in the bottom of my graham crackers. I'm gonna add my butter in, and this was unsalted butter. I mean, I think you could really probably use salted butter if that's all you had. It's just, you know, I tend to do most things now in my kitchen with unsalted butter. Just nobody really needs the extra sodium. So the test is kind of, if you can pick it up and it holds, this is still a little crumbly for my liking. So I'm going to do about 2 more tablespoons of butter in the microwave here. Because you definitely don't want your crust crumbling on you as you're trying to get this out of the pan. Now, some people like to add sugar to their crust, and you can certainly do that. I find that the pie itself is plenty sweet. You really don't need any extra sugar. But if you do want to add some sugar, add a tablespoon or 2 of white or brown sugar at this point. It would be okay. All right. Melted butter. I'm not going to dump the whole thing in. We're just going to go gingerly. You can always add more, but once it's in there, almost there. Okay, that to me is looking, yeah, that's looking better. Okay, I'm gonna dust my hands off, give them a rinse here. Okay, now I have gone to my cupboard and I have gotten just a juice glass. I'll put my crumbs into my plate, like so. And I'm just going to use my juice glass to press those into my plate. I use a spoon. It's just something I started doing a while back. And you'll find that the crust does kind of rise up around the edges, which is what you want. Kind of work from the middle to the outside edges so that you get that crust, that ridge. Okay, and then the rest I'm going to try and do with a spoon. Oh, why is it when you're cooking that your nose starts to itch? Now my crust is not going to be probably as purdy as the crust that I had that was pre-made from the store. That's all right. It'll be homespun. That's what we call it. When it's not so pretty, we call it homespun. Okay, so there we have it. Final press there. It's looking good. Okay, So really the butter is what's going to hold this crust together. Some people bake their crust too. You can also do that if it makes you feel better, to pop it in the oven for 5 minutes. Really get that butter activated and then take it out and let it cool. But I'm not going to bother with that. This is looking quite good. Okay, homespun. Remember that. That's the word of the day. Hashtag homespun. We're going to pop this in the fridge and then we're going to set about making our filling for our pie. Okay guys, so our crust is in the fridge, just chilling and getting happy. Let's work on our filling. So last time we used lemons that were very, very juicy. I have limes today. They're a lot smaller, whoops, and they feel a lot harder than those lemons. So I've got my electric juicer out. Hopefully that will yield enough juice to make this happen. Otherwise we may have to supplement with a little bit of lemon juice just to have the proper volume. But they're still good. I mean, when I'm pressing down on them, you can smell the oils in the skin releasing, so that's great. All right, so we're going to start by zesting these. Again, just like I said when we were making the lemon one, the skin is where you get all the really delicious, really punchy, really tart citrus flavor. So you want to make sure you get all that skin. Now, I think I've got most of it. Okay, so after I've got them zested, oops, I'm just gonna juice them. Oops. They don't look very juicy. We will see. So like I say, I'm using my electric juicer. Use a hand reamer, use a press, whatever you like. Very little juice coming out of these bad boys. I think I'm probably going to end up using every single one of these and maybe a little bit of lemon too. And then I'm going to pitch them in my compost bin. So I'm going to work away at this, continue zesting and juicing, and I'll be back when I've got all that done and we'll see what we ended up with. Okay, much juicing later. We are left with 3 sad little limes and a lot of shells. So that's great. We used up a lot of them and they're going to go out in my compost bin, make some nice compost. But we did get enough juice. It took a lot. There was not a lot of juice in there, but we did get 3/4 of a cup of lime juice and lots of nice lime zest. Now, naturally, I am starting to work here, so my dogs have decided that now is the time to go out and frolic with the bunnies in the neighborhood. So if you will excuse me. Just frolic quietly, okay? Okay. So let's get started. So I'm going to set my zest, my juice back here. I've got a bowl. I've got 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk. Okay. These are the regular fat or caloric intake variety. And into a bowl they go. Making sure scrape out all that sweet, creamy, delicious, full fat goodness. So you can bet your bottom dollar that if this one works and tastes as good as the lemon, somewhere down the road, when it's easier to get to the grocery store or I think about it and I'm there and I can pick up some more condensed milk, because this is the last of my stash. I must have gotten a really good sale on it somewhere because I had a whole bunch stockpiled. So you can bet your bottom dollar that if this works and tastes as good as the lemon one, that we will be trying it with orange just to see how it goes. So into our sweetened condensed milk goes a ton of lime zest. This is where I think we're going to get the bulk of our flavor. and then our lime juice. Now I think I need a whisk for this, would be best. Just whisk in our lime zest first. Oh, it already smells really good. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. This is where we were in the lemon pie episode, where I thought there is no way that this and this is going to equal a nice thick creamy custard for a pie shell, and much to my surprise it did. So let's see if the lime juice reacts the same way with the sweetened condensed milk. First it gets quite liquidy and you're thinking, oh my gosh. Oh, and then it starts to thicken. Yeah, it looks to be doing the very same thing as the lemon juice. There is that moment of panic as you just try and get it incorporated. So neat. I really don't understand the chemical reaction there, but yep, there we go, and it's looking nice and thick. Wow. Okay. Now, of course, I have to taste it before it goes into the shell. Nice. Definitely not as tart, I don't think, as the lemon, but we shall see after it's had overnight to sit in the fridge how it sets up and how it tastes. Maybe that lime juice is going to get a little bit more sharp as it sits there in the fridge. But let's get our crust. Okay, get it into our crust here. Wow, it's already setting really well. Eesh. Okay. Spatula for licking. So already what I'm going to tell you about this is we're 2 for 2, I think, for as far as a win on a recipe, because the lemon was great. This one is looking beautiful. I really like the look of this one with the green, I'll bring the computer over so you can see here, the green little specks of zest in it. Looks very pretty. Very, very pretty. And what I also really like about this is you could very comfortably and easily make one of these to take to a potluck in the summer, and you don't really have to be super concerned about, is it going to poison somebody by going bad, right? Sit it in your fridge overnight, keep it in a cooler bag, but I mean, it's not like those dishes that you might make that might have mayonnaise or sour cream or something in them. I mean, the sweetened condensed milk is pretty stable, and wow, they're delicious. So into the fridge it's going to go. We will give it the official taste test tomorrow. We'll see you then.